All right. Wow.
Looks like we're live.
We're here. Welcome.
Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve. Yes. The end of 2023. We've made it. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight.
We do. It's been a big cruising year.
Yes. So, hello, good evening, and welcome to Here Today, Where Tomorrow with our bestest friends, PMB's Wide World of Ports. We got
Hello.
Patrick here with us, and Becca is in the other room. We might bring her in later just to say hello. Between the two of us this year, we cruised across 4 lines on 6 different cruise ships. So we have a lot to talk about today.
2 of the ships were the same.
Yes, we joined each other on 2 different lines on 2 different ships. So, yes, so much cruising, so little time.
Exactly.
I forgot you can't tag people in because we're through here, through StreamYard. We can't tag people in it like we can on the YouTubes. Okay, so let's kind of break down the year in review, I guess. So January was the Vlogger Extravaganza, which if you don't know, that's right, we met there. And if you don't know what that was some of the like founding fathers of YouTube came together and brought, I don't know, it was like 900, 1,000 people representing, I think we had like 52 YouTube channels were represented there. And we just had a giant group cruise, and that was super fun. So that was January. And then February, we, Here Today, Where Tomorrow, went on the Carnival Celebration, which the Jubilee was just released. So at the time, the Celebration was the biggest and newest in Carnival's fleet, and we absolutely loved that. Hiya, Grandma's Cozy Cabin's here. It's my mom. Hello, mother. And then April. Yeah, you guys went on the Celebrity.
We did a family cruise on the Celebrity Solstice. We had the kids with us, and that was a Mexican Riviera cruise.
Yeah.
The first time in the Mexican Riviera. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
Riviera. It was fun.
and we are actually about to do a Mexican Riviera. So we've been using their videos of their trip as a reference guide. Now we will be going with Norwegian, not Celebrity. However, it was some of the same ports. So we did actually just have an itinerary change. I think we lost Ensenada and gained something else. I'm not sure. But so that was in April. And then we joined each other together on the MSC Seaside in August, which we were also joined by Katie's grandparents. And we had a great time. Hello from Trampa. Hello, hello. It's my dad. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Yeah, so we had a great time on the seaside, although it was super packed. You know, I think it was like the last hurrah for a lot of people before heading back to school.
It was the very last. Okay, let's get one more thing in before the kids go to school.
And I think I thought that we were like 2 weeks after school had started.
We did.
No, that was
we were
definitely wrong. T-Town down. It's the Broham. So we got Mom, Dad, we got the Broham, we got the whole family showing up. Oh, my dad says hi, Patrick.
Hey, good to see you. Or I see him right down there. So yes, good to see you.
Yes. Yeah, peace up, T-Town down. Okay, and then I just recently did the Magnifica, which was absolutely awesome. I enjoy MSC. And the Magnifica was a much smaller ship and had way less people on board. So it was like, I don't know, I think we were at maybe 60% capacity.
And didn't you say it had just come from Europe?
Yeah, so they had just finished their Europe season. And we were technically the third sailing, but it was like week 2 of them coming into the American sailing. So everybody was fresh. A lot of the... Thanks. Watch Party of the McNeils. Yeah, so it was kind of the first hurrah for a bunch of people on that ship, like the crew and stuff. So I don't know that there was ever like fumbling, but it definitely, there were a couple of things that took a little bit longer, not in a negative way, but once we realized that the staff was all brand new, that was, really, really cool. But then now you have something that was brand new right after I got off of the Magnifica. You guys, like the next day, following day, you guys were there for the Ascent, which was the inaugural.
It was the
maiden.
Yeah, inaugural maiden sailing. Although they stuck in a couple of short ones right before it, but I guess it was the official inaugural sailing. But yeah, that was at the beginning of this month, and it was amazing for being brand new ship, brand new crew on the ship. We were very pleasantly surprised because I've heard horror stories about things, just they haven't got the bugs worked out and all this. But for it being a first sailing, I can't think of anything at all that stands out that would,
Yeah. I've heard a lot of like inaugural sailings where like shows aren't done yet. I think it was like Disney Cruise Lines or something like that, where it's the inaugural sailing and we'll give you like a sneak peek of the show, but the show isn't actually ready. And so they like do like a half show, or they'll do like one of the numbers of the show. So it's nice to hear that you guys actually had carne asada. It's my sister, Christy. Hello. Thanks. Yeah, I think overall we had a really awesome year that was well-rounded in different cruise lines. Obviously, everybody knows Carnival. People are familiar with Norwegian. MSC is kind of the new kid on the block. And I think Celebrity is trying to place itself in a new market, because I feel like Celebrity was more Christy says, hit us with the Tommy Boy quote. Shut up, Richard. This is the guy.
It was cordless.
This is the guy to do it. Did I catch a niner in there? Yeah. Our entire cruise on the seaside was nothing but Tommy Boy quotes, like
We had a competition to see whose
Yeah.
wife did the most eye rolls.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm still not sure who won that.
I think they've lost all their eyes. They rolled them all away on that ship for sure. But it's got to be Yearable for sure. So yeah. So I'm interested to kind of. We have a list of things that we would like to talk about for kind of not necessarily our favorites because they're all great. Like I did not have a bad cruise. I didn't have a bad time on any of these cruise ships. There was never a moment where I regretted spending a hard-earned dollar on any of these ships.
Same.
Yeah. So like we're going to list some of our favorites, but I don't know that I would like hardline favorite it because that can always change. And your experience may be different than our experience, but we've got a ton of like combined between you and I, we have a ton of experience on a bunch of different lines, and we can kind of speak collectively for a cruise line. So like, for example, I've been on a ton of Carnivals across their entire fleet. I feel like I can comfortably talk about Carnival cruise lines. MSC, I've done 3 MSCs that were all different size ships. I feel like I can comfortably talk about MSC. You probably feel that way about Celebrity.
Yeah, we've done several Celebrity ships.
And with Norwegian, I've only done 1. We are about to February of 2024. We will do another Norwegian. So there's kind of like we're starting to expand into more and more. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, but we were trying to go on the Solstice with y'all and the Ascent, but it just didn't work out with timing and stuff. So we'll try and get on a Celebrity maybe this upcoming year. But is there anything else you want to talk about for these specifics before we jump into kind of the?
No, I think that's good. This past year, we actually didn't take a Carnival cruise, which is odd for us. We went on twice as many cruises as we normally do as a couple and as a family. We usually only get to do 2, and we did 4 this year. So that was great. But our kids, we love Carnival, but we just got certain deals, and it just worked out that Celebrity, we were kind of heavy on Celebrity, and MSC, that sailing that we went on was very affordable, and plus they were there, so we're like, hey,
yeah, we got to.
Yep, it's another selling point. So
yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, cool. Okay, so we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna go into just some nitty gritty.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah. Nacho. So we're gonna go into some of the like more specific things that we like. So I would say we're gonna go over a couple of categories. We'll start with like the food for these specific.
Our favorite part.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As you could tell, we'll start with the best. So again, we have Norwegian, MSC, Celebrity, and Carnival. Those are the ones that we're talking about right now because these are the ones that we were on this year. This is a 2023 recap, so this is what we're talking about. I would say all of the food across all of the lines, there were some things that were really, really good, surprising. Had never tried it before, and I tried it, and it was delicious. And they were all diverse, I would say. I can't speak for Celebrity, so I'll leave that to you. But for like MSC, obviously they're a European-based, Italian-based ship. So they have a very European style when it comes to their food. Their pizza is bar none the best pizza at sea. And I am really interested in checking out Princess because I got a Princess cruise.
Wait, I do too.
Oh my God. When? In March?
In March.
Oh, no
2nd
way.
To be exact.
March 2nd. That's when I'm going. We're going to be on the same cruise together.
Hang out.
We should get in the same room with Jason from Facebook Jason. That's right. So yeah, we do have a boys cruise that we're doing. 3 men in a tub. It's going to be
kind of an experiment.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. What are we experimenting?
I
didn't sign up. I didn't sign up for that. We're not talking about that. No.
To see if we can go a full 7 days without killing each other.
Or showering. Wait, what?
What? I may have to rethink this cruise.
Oh, okay. So Yeah, so we are excited about that because they have like a pizzeria, like they have a specific pizza restaurant as well. So across all these lines, I have tried the pizza minus celebrity, but I can say for me personally, of all the complimentary food, the one that I always went back to, Guy's Burgers is great. Shaq's Chicken. This was the first time I got to try Shaq's Chicken on the celebration. That was awesome. The Norwegian Breakaway has Oceans. Their food is super, super good. But I just, man, that MSC pizza was the thing I would always get. So I would have to put one of my absolute favorites would be the MSC pizza for sure.
And I would have to agree with that. Up until this cruise, this seaside cruise, I was, my favorite pizza was the Carnival pizza because they've got some really good pizza.
Yeah, the Quattro Formaggi is super good, super good.
And I always said Carnival's got the best pizza at sea, but I had to change that when we went on this cruise because it is just consistently. I mean, it's close. It's very close.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think MSC has the edge.
Yeah.
And so my first MSC cruise was in 2012 in the Mediterranean. MSC Splendida. Their pizza was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was ages ago. Though.
So right. But my expectations were low because I'm like, well, it's same cruise line, but no, they've completely changed it, and it's got the top spot.
And one thing I would say versus Carnival, I do enjoy Carnival's pizza as well. Carnival's pizza is always a wait. Mm-hmm. There's always a line. There's always people. You can never get anything. Whereas MSC, they got a team of people slaving at that pizza place because it's good. It's so good that they have to keep rolling them out, and they know that it's good. And like Carnival has just recently introduced or reintroduced the late night buffet. MSC's had it, and MSC has pizza on their late night buffet. So there ain't nothing better than you've been dancing your tushy off at the white night party or the flower party, the 70s, 80s party, and you are absolutely famished. You want to get that little bit of something right before you hit the hay. Boy, that pizza is top. So I really do think that MSC knows what they're doing in that aspect. And I wish, and I've said this on pretty much all of my Carnival vlogs, every time I've stood in line waiting for Carnival pizza, there's one guy who's getting yelled at by 35 people for more pizza. And he's like, I can only make so many pizzas. So I do wish that Carnival would kind of pick up the pace a little bit on that.
I did see a second guy one time bringing the dough balls out to him.
There you go. It's the Doughboy.
Yeah.
It was the Carnival Doughboy.
As far as celebrity pizza, it is good, but it is not as good as MSC. Yeah. So, I mean, I had several pieces, but I didn't have it every day like I did on MSC.
Yeah. So. Like twice a day on MSC for me.
Yeah.
Especially on the Magnifica, because there were so little people there. You just literally could grab as much as you wanted because they'd have 5 pizzas out there at all times. So super good. Okay. What about specialty restaurant? You take the lead on this one. Tell me, what was your kind of, again, I don't know that we're picking favorites per se, but some of our top for specialty restaurants.
We don't do a whole lot of specialty dining just because of the included food, but we usually try to do one per cruise if we can. And I would say for this past year, the best specialty dining that we went to would have been Teppanyaki on the MSC Seaside.
Yeah, and that was because we were there.
You were there? Yeah. No, I mean, as far as
really good. It was so really good.
Yeah. I mean, I think about that a lot. I'm like, man, I wish I could eat that tonight.
That's true. I totally agree. I went like hard, and I think I ended up getting like the lobster and the up like the highest one. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like the highest tier with the lobster and the fish and the sushi and all that stuff.
And plus, they put on such an entertaining show.
Right.
And on the same subject of MSC, they didn't have an Ola Tacos on the seaside, but last year on the seashore, we went to Ola Tacos, and it was probably my second favorite. It was very good.
On the Norwegian Breakaway, part of our Free at Sea, which was the package that we got when we booked for the Vlogger Extravaganza specific, we did get 2 specialty restaurants that we could go to. Now, I did the Italian restaurant, and joined you guys at Moderno's,
Moderno, the Brazilian steakhouse.
Yes, and then you guys also did the Cagney's, or no?
No, we did the.
Oh, you did the teppanyaki.
We did teppanyaki
Yeah,
there.
that's right. You did teppanyaki. Yep.
Norwegian teppanyaki is also very good.
Yeah, but the steakhouse was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoy. I love the idea of a Brazilian steakhouse. Like just I don't necessarily need a lot, but I love trying different, and so having small bits but a lot to choose from, that was really, really cool.
Plus the huge salad bar where you can
go through. There was 100 things on that salad bar or something like that. I don't know. You did a really good video about it in your video.
Yeah,
you really walked around it, and I kind of did like one or two sweeping shots. But I would say, let's see, what other did I do any other specialty restaurants? So on the seaside, Katie and I did the sushi restaurant, the Asian Market Kitchen, and we did it. I think it was a day in port or something, and so we were the only ones there. Like it was literally just Katie and I and the staff.
Like teppanyaki,
kind of like when we did the teppanyaki, and so it was really awesome, and the food there was absolutely delicious too. So I don't know that I have like a favorite, but I would kind of agree that the teppanyaki was probably the most complete. From start to finish, including the entertainment, the best meal that we had. So,
and we did do one specialty dining on the Ascent, and it was the Fine Cut Steakhouse, and it was good, but it wasn't $60 per person. Good, I don't think. I mean, it was. I mean, we enjoyed our meal, but I think we would have enjoyed one just as well if we had eaten in the main dining room. So.
So Katie is asking, what was that Moderno's? It's called Moderno's.
But Becca likes to put an extra syllable in it.
So it's Moderno.
But it's a Brazilian steakhouse where they pass around the different kinds of meat, and you just, if you want, they got it on a skewer, they bring it by, and if you want it, they'll slice them off or
super good,
slide off one of the sausage links or whatever.
Yeah. Chicken. Yeah, they had a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. So I think that kind of wraps up food.
Yeah.
So the next one is entertainment. And I've kind of split this up into two areas. We have around the ship entertainment. So for example, you're walking out of dinner and there's a violinist standing there playing the violin. There's a guy over here playing guitar. He's playing some Jimmy Buffett. This guy is on the island just right when you get off, and he's playing the steel drums. That type of like around the ship entertainment where it's not necessarily scheduled, but it's just around. I would say that I felt like the celebration had a ton of like just random people. And I feel like from watching your guys' videos, the Ascent had a lot of like just random stuff happening as you're just walking around. The Magnifica had a couple of things. You know, MSC has kind of like a one-off because they have their private island. And so there's so much stuff that happens on the private island that is MSC employees. Like it's not going into Grand Turk and you have all the locals that are working there. You only have MSC employees working on Ocean Key. And so they will have a guy at the lighthouse bar playing guitar. They have a guy standing by the information desk playing steel drums. And so they do that on the ship and off the ship. And that was kind of what I experienced both on the seaside in their, like, what was that Grand Atrium area? I don't remember if that was what it was called, but where they had the crafts and stuff like that. They would always have that like 2 or 3 level place had someone there pretty much all the time. And then the same thing with the Magnifica. They had an area that was in their Grand Atrium there by the piano. They either had the lady playing the piano, they had a guy there playing steel drums, they had a guy there with a guitar. Pretty much every day of my 4-day cruise, somebody was there the majority of the day in a revolving type thing. So I think that most of the ships were pretty good about having just live music playing somewhere. The Magnifica also had the sports bar, and the sports bar area had a whole bunch of people in it that would play standing next to a bobsled, which was so weird to me. It's just
an actual bobsled.
Like a giant 4-man bobsled in the middle of the stage, which is like a small round stage in the sports bar. It was very interesting, but always somebody there. What about the Solstice? Did they have a lot of?
It was, what you expect in the main atrium area, but I will say the Ascent did have probably the most of any cruise that I've been on, and the most variety. And the Grand Plaza is what they call their main atrium area, and they had the big Christmas tree there, and they had a stage where they would have random musicians there throughout the day, and then a couple times a night they would have like a couple that were dancers / acrobats, and they would do the lifting up over the head, and then they had these 2 big muscly guys that were acrobats, and they would put on their show couple nights a week. And you had the Martini Bar right there, and so the Martini Bar guys would do their show with the juggling and the pouring of the what was the Breakaway had a bar like the Martini Bar where they would do the tricks and mix the drinks and have a bunch of them lined up and fill them all at the same time, whatever. I don't remember what that's called, but yeah, they had that there. We were there when they did the bar crawl, the secret bar crawl. And secret bar crawl. All of what we're talking about is all over our channels. So I highly suggest, if any of this sounds interesting, you can easily find it on my channel, his channel. Subscribe to both of our channels if you're not, and go ahead and go through some of the playlists, and you can find everything that we're talking about tonight all over these channels. So, if you go, gosh, I want to see what that's like, go to our channels, you'll find it for sure. Okay, so the other part of the entertainment is the theater shows, so like the actual planned shows. And to this day, I would say that out of Norwegian Carnival and MSC that I did this year, the Norwegian Breakaway had Burn the Floor, which to me, the only reason we are going on the Norwegian Bliss in February is because I told my wife, you need to go on a Norwegian trip. Like, you need to try a Norwegian ship because we need this. Their shows were great. MSC has massive variety. So they don't just have singers and dancers, which is very much Carnival's thing, is just singers and dancers. Now, they're kind of starting to try and build that up a little bit more with some of their more newer shows. But for the longest time, Carnival had only been rocking through the 50s and 60s, which is just trash. But MSC has jugglers and a lot of the acrobatic type stuff. And they had a BMX guy on the Magnifica, and on the Seaside, they had contortionists. There's just MSC, I felt, is a little bit more, I don't want to say cultured, but I feel like they had more to offer. They wouldn't be afraid to sing in another language, which I really appreciate with MSC. I do like a little bit of culture when I cruise. So I do appreciate that. How was celebrity shows? Obviously, the Ascent, that's brand new. Yes. So that should be like flagship level shows. And yes, that is the one that stands out. Amazing, really. Yeah. They had 2 shows that were brand new to celebrity. And just the fact that everything was brand new, the level of polish that these performers had. I mean, you could tell that they had been practicing for a long time, and they were probably the most polished performers as a group that I've seen on a cruise ship. And I was very pleasantly surprised by that. And they did shows in the main theater. One thing I really liked about the main theater, they have the circular stage. They have the circular wall behind it with the LED wall where, it looked really cool in the video. Puts a whole new level to the experience. Then they had a couple of smaller places. One was called the Club, and then Eden. And they were definitely smaller venues, and they would put on shows there too. And I really liked being able to have the smaller venues and get in a little bit closer. But of course that always causes problems because people think that they can get there right before showtime and get a seat.
Right.
And by that time, the place is completely packed.
Yeah.
But I do like the atmosphere of being in a smaller venue.
And I think that a lot from what I've seen of your guys' video on the Ascent, it seems like a lot of those spaces are multi-use spaces.
Yeah.
And because of that, now you're like adding value to the fact that we're going to do a show in the evening, but we're going to do the escape room in the day, and we're going to do trivia in the afternoon, and then the show's at night. And so you kind of, you're adding more value to each space. And there are some ships that they do that with a multi-use space, and it's not secluded enough. It's in the middle, and I'm looking at you, Celebration, and on the XL class.
With Solstice had the same problem.
Yeah, that center stage thing where you have a stage here that you're going to do a show on, but you're also right next to the casino. And so there's all those flashing lights and people yelling and screaming, but it's right behind everyone trying to watch this, the violinist play. And you're like, gosh, the cacophony of sound that happens if you're on the back row, it just doesn't mix well. And so I can appreciate let's have more things to do and see. But I wish it was a bit more split up, which it seems like the Ascent, they're kind of compartmentalized a little bit better.
They are. That's one thing I like. And with the Solstice, they had an area where it was kind of center midship, you know, and so they had an area where they would have activities, and then there's a walkway and then more seats behind that. So inevitably the people in those seats are going to have people walking by, or they're walking by and they see a show. And so they stop and they just stand there in front of the people that are sitting down that have been there for an hour, you know?
Yeah.
And so that caused a little bit of problems.
Yeah.
But
Katie says she doesn't like the multi-use spaces, or it's too busy. Yeah, I agree.
But I do like, because Eden was at the very back of the ship. And then
that hallway is so fun.
Yes.
I love watching any of the videos of that hallway of mirrors. I just want to slap my hand on every single one of them, but I'll probably get shot or zapped or something. But yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about for entertainment? No. Let's talk about the actual entertainment staff. Okay. So there are some Norwegian, and maybe this was just the breakaway. I don't know that I really connected at all on the breakaway with any entertainment staff. The cruise director and the entertainment staff was there. They were engaging and they were encouraging, like at the dances and stuff like that. But I didn't feel like there was a lot of camaraderie and jovialness with each other.
So they're just doing their job.
They were just performers that were there to just encourage you to dance. Whereas kind of on on the Carnival side, Carnivals, I would probably have to give that favorite category of the entertainment staff to Carnival, because they are so engaging and they're so just present and around.
They bring in the fun.
They choose fun.
Yes, they do that too.
They're thunderstruck.
They are.
Yeah.
Because they're fun ships.
Yeah. # They're the fun ships. Yeah. So I would probably say now MSC and my friend John from Bite Size Cruises, he kind of summed this up where he felt like the MSC crew was a bit more hands-off, not in a negative way, just more of a European style where if you need something, 100% they're there to help you and get you whatever you need. But they're not tripping over themselves to find something to help you with. If you need something, they're there for you. If not, they just blend in with the wall, which I did feel like that on the Magnifica. The Seaside was a right mess a couple of times because there were I feel like on that Seaside cruise, there was multiple people in every room on that ship. I don't think there was one single bed that was not slept in on that ship because it was so packed.
And I had said in the past that, it was the first cruise that we had done together as a family.
Yeah.
And I felt like even though we were on the same cruise ship for 7 days, we had very little opportunity to just sit down and talk and hear each other.
Yep.
It was just so crowded.
Yeah.
And so hot.
And I don't know why there were so many. It might have had something to do with they lost an engine.
Yeah.
So they just may have not had power to power everything. But I'll tell you, I really wish I could transport all of the time that we spent on the seaside and brought everybody on the Magnifica, because it was so good. It was so good. Okay. Moving right along here, let's start talking about things to do. And we're going to split this up in like planned activities. You get up in the morning, you have your sheet of paper on the things to do for the day. Like, what do they have? Is it for you? Is it not for you? And then we're going to split that up into like things to do. Aside from like the planned activities, if I just want to go find something to do, whether that's bowling or a 4D theater or the arcade or the pools or the water park or whatever it is, like those options where like they're just always available and you just at your leisure can go do the spa or go play basketball or whatever it is. So let's start by talking about planned activities. And I want to take a second here to talk about MSC, my most recent cruise on the Magnifica. I felt like and John also from Bite-Size Cruises, he did a whole vlog series as well as I did on the Magnifica, because we were both on the same cruise together. He talked a lot about on the island, or anytime we were in port, really, there's not a lot to do on the ship. They don't plan a lot of things because I think they just assume that most people are off the ship. So they don't have a lot of things. Whereas like Carnival has a litany of things scheduled at all times. And I felt like Norwegian was kind of more on the MSC side, where like it had stuff planned, but it was like name that tune and trivia and stuff, not really excessive amounts of things to do. What about Celebrity? What's Celebrity like? I've never done a Celebrity. So
Celebrity, they do a lot of trivia, but on the Ascent, they had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
This was, I mean, there's always the moment where you're like, well, would I rather do this or this? And you have to pick between a couple of things on your sheet. And it was the most difficult decisions on this cruise because it's like, oh, there's this, but there's also this and this. And so there was so much going on. I'd almost rather have fewer choices, but yeah, they had so much going on that there was never a lack of anything to do.
Cool.
And I will say one thing on the seaside that I didn't like about, for instance, craft time.
Again, it's so many people.
It was so limited.
Yeah.
They could only, 14 tables?
Yeah.
Out of how many thousands?
Well, yeah, exactly. You have 5,000 people on board and you have enough for 28 people to do crafts. And then once it's done, it's done. Like, oh, we've handed out all the crafts. This is all we can handle. There's no more. And you're like, you don't even have all the tables here. Like, not all the tables are taken. It's just these few select tables. So like, can you hand me a craft and I'll go over to the tables over here? And they're like, no, we can't. We're done. We're tapped. And I don't know.
On the Ascent, they did crafts and they did it in Eden at the Amphitheater ship.
Yeah.
Had lots of room, lots of seats, and it seemed to accommodate every single person that wanted to do the crafts.
Yeah. Katie was very upset about the crafts.
Yeah.
Yes. No, boo on the crafts. So, okay. And then I would say for the availability of like things to do, obviously the Carnival Celebration's brand new. Okay. Or up until the Jubilee that just came out was like the most new. Celebrity Ascent, brand new. Big ships, thousands of people, so much stuff to do. Same thing with the Seaside, thousands of people. It's a newer ship. There's a water park. There's water slides. There's zip lining. There's, ropes courses. There's some sort of tennis or pickleball or basketball or hockey or whatever. I think I even saw a video that the Ascent had curling. They had inflatable curling. I saw that on Views and Cues, which was a bit crazy on the Ascent. Versus like the Magnifica, which is a smaller, older ship. They have pools. They don't have any water slides. They don't have any crazy stuff. The Breakaway was kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah, they had the ropes course,
right,
and a zip line,
right. I'm interested. The Bliss that we're going to be going on, I believe, has the go-kart track on it.
Facebook Jason is here. Hey, Jason.
Hey, it's our boy. It's our third musketeer. We are without you, my friend. We are so excited. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
This is going to be weird.
Be interesting vlog.
It's going to be something. So yeah, I felt like obviously the newer ships have the stuff. So obviously, if you want a ship with tons of stuff, you need to find a newer ship. Now, I am hoping and praying that someday soon, these cruise lines that have smaller ships and older ships, like Carnival with their fantasy class, that someone is going to start making newer ships with newer stuff, but are smaller. Okay. And I can just name these off the top of my head because I know
there's always going to be a market for that.
Right. Well, I mean, Tampa and Jacksonville, both of those ports go under a bridge. So they have height restrictions regardless of anything else. And so at some point, the fantasy class needs to be updated and they can only go so big. So they're going to have to build a new ship that is small if they want to continue. And so whether they're buying someone else's small ship or whatever, there needs to be smaller ships. And I hope and pray that they take some of the more advanced fun things on these bigger ships and just compartmentalize them and put them on the smaller ships. They don't have to be too crazy, but I'm hoping that that'll be the case because I personally love a smaller ship. Okay. I mean, if I could choose of all the cruises that I did this year, the MSC Magnifica, the small ship with nothing to do, with very little people, was probably the best overall like ship experience. Yeah, Jason agrees. The smaller ships, just like the intimacy of a smaller ship, you can get to know your cruise director more. You can get to know your employees more, and a lot of the time, if you spend, and it's different on like a 4-day or 5-day, but once you get into the 7 or 8 or 10-day, even the longer cruises, the people that you're with, like the employees that you're around, the people that are serving your table, they become friends. I mean, they are there so often and you spend so much physical time with them.
Happened on the Summit. It was a smaller ship.
It's hard not to want to know these people's stories. I know your name now and you know mine. Let's get to know each other. And it's so much easier to do that on the smaller ships. So I kind of lean more towards the smaller ships, even though they may not have the same amenities as the big ships. I kind of will take that sacrifice because I like the smaller ships.
I think I would agree with you there too.
Yeah.
But Becca and I still want to go on an Oasis class ship because we've not been on.
Same. I would love to do a Royal and do an Oasis. I know if Howie Cruise was here, they would be raving on and on because they're super Royal Caribbean people and they love the Oasis class, and I know a lot of people do. So one day we'll get there as well. But okay, so we're going to talk about some ports. Now, obviously, every ship goes to different ports and things like that. But I think we're just going to talk about kind of where we went this year and what did we really enjoy. You do love the variations. Yeah, Katie says she loves the variations of food on the big ships.
Yes.
That is true. The Magnifica definitely lacked. Celebration food was really good. It was nice to have all the different. I'm super excited for Katie to experience Norwegian, and I think the Bliss has the local, which is their version of Oceans. So I'm really excited for her to experience
Norwegian food is
very good. I really enjoyed the Breakaway. And I love the come as you are main dining room.
Freestyle.
Yeah. And you kind of have do you want to just go to the main dining room or do you want to dress up, go to the Manhattan room? It's a little bit of a nicer. They have live musicians there and stuff like that. I love that option where it's still a complimentary either or, but you can either or to your level, which is really nice. So, okay. So let's talk about ports of call. The Breakaway we went to, and I didn't write this down, so this is going to try and be memory. We went to Costa Maya, Cozumel, and Roatan, right? We were supposed to go to Harvest Cay, but the weather was bad, so we couldn't make it.
It was sunny out, but
Yeah.
I remember the waves were.
It was pretty windy,
pretty
which
high,
I was sad
yeah.
because I kind of wanted to check out their private island.
And we had been there once and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've never been, so hopefully one day I'll go there. Celebration, we did St. Thomas and some other ones I don't remember. Katie, you'll have to write them down. Where else did we go on that? I don't remember.
Did you do St. Martin?
I don't think we.
Okay.
I think we did just St. Thomas, and I think we did Costa Maya or some other. Well, it would be Cozumel. I don't remember. Where did you go on the solstice?
On the solstice, we just went to. Let me think.
Because that was the Mexican Riviera.
Yeah, solstice. We went to Cabo San Lucas.
Yeah.
Which was probably our least favorite port.
Okay.
Just because they were
Yeah.
the most aggressive
Pushy, yeah.
street vendors and someone actively trying to sell drugs from across the street.
Nice.
Mazatlan, which we enjoyed, but
Yep.
it's a little sketchy there.
Yep.
There's just a lot of crime. We didn't have any problems, thankfully, but we were very cautious.
Well, when we were on the breakaway, who is it? J&D. They were talking about how he loves Mazatlan because of their food. Supposedly they have some of the most delicious food. So I don't know. I mean, the pair DJ, they seem to love Mazatlan. So I'm interested to go check it out. So
it's definitely interesting. Go into the downtown area.
Yeah, like what is it, Old Town or
the
something?
Old Town.
Yeah.
And then our last stop on that one was San Diego, which was,
It's a weird port,
but it was kind of cool because we got to, there's a just a shopping area down there by the pier, and then one of my daughters and I got to go on the Maritime Museum, which is a series of ships that are docked and a submarine, and that was worth the whole stop right there.
Yeah, you guys should go check that out. That was a really good video, so you should go check that video out on his channel. Then of course we did the seaside, and that was Costa Maya and Cozumel.
The usual.
And then Ocean Key.
Yeah.
Which Ocean Key, man. Then I did the Magnifica, which was Ocean Key and Nassau, which was kind of nice to see Nassau back in its glory, which, you know, I really actually liked it. I find that so funny to say, but I'm working on that vlog series right now on the Nassau day. And it's funny because I laugh that I probably said in a video 2 years ago on the channel about how that I hated coming to Nassau and that I couldn't wait for all the construction to be done, because every time we would pull into Nassau, you couldn't sit on your balcony because it was nothing but hammering and jackhammers and grinding sounds just the whole day while you're in Nassau. So it was really nice for them to finally be done. I would say hands down, Ocean Key is like my favorite place to go right now. I absolutely love Ocean Key. I think it's so great that the Wi-Fi and your drinks package work on the island. They don't try and gouge you. Everything is included. They do have some upcharge food trucks, but they do have a buffet, and most of their food trucks are included. They do have a yacht club area that supposedly they're sinking a bunch of money into upgrading. So if you do the yacht club experience, which on MIC, which we have not done, that you'll have a whole new experience. Yo, Eddie Lugo, Brooklyn in the house. What's up, buddy? I was hoping he'd make it. So yeah, the MSC Ocean Keys, absolutely the best for me. And then where did you guys go on the ascent?
So we went to St. Martin, St. Thomas, and Dominican Republic, Puerto Plata.
Okay.
And out of those three, I would have to say St. Thomas was probably my favorite, just because of how beautiful that island is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would agree.
We went to Magens Bay Beach.
Magens Bay is gorgeous. I swam with turtles in Magens Bay.
We saw some turtles.
Yeah.
And then we did the sky ride when we got back
so
into
fun.
town.
Yeah. Those are so fun.
Just sitting out there and overlooking
all
Carnival ships docking.
Ships. Yeah.
So that was probably my.
I'm gonna look forward to that. I really, when we were on the celebration, we were there, and I absolutely loved that port, and I loved sitting up there and doing a time lapse of all the ships and stuff like that. All the clouds going by over these massive ships, but they look so tiny from way up there. So I'm looking forward to that vlog for sure. So out of all of the ports of call that you went to, what would you say is kind of your top? I don't know if to be your favorite.
Well, I would have to say, if we're talking private islands, definitely Ocean Key. But if we're excluding those, I would have to say St. Thomas. Mm-hmm. That was the first time that we'd been.
I'd probably agree with that.
I'd seen it in vlogs, and I was really glad that we got to go.
I would say I do really like Grand Turk and Costa Maya for their freeness of the things to do. You can jump in the pool, you can go walk around. There's entertainment. Costa Maya has the Costa Maya Flyers. There's a live show entertainment. You should tip them a little bit if you stand there and watch it. But
flamingos.
There's the flamingos in the aviary and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff to do in those ports. So if you're going to, you need to grow a beard, Patrick. Eddie Lugo says you need to grow a beard. No. I agree. But yeah, Grand Turk and Costa Maya, if you're going to those, definitely get off the ship and check them out, because I think those ports, even if you're not going to do an excursion, I think those ports are worth it because there's so much fun things to do there. So, okay, on to the next thing. Layout of ships. And we're going to split this up into like the common areas, just wherever you can go throughout the ship, whether it flowed nice, whether it felt choppy, if there was a lot of like seating areas and stuff, which we've kind of covered some of that stuff in some of these earlier talks. And then the other one's going to be the staterooms. I'm just going to say this. On the Carnival Celebration, we were in a forward-facing balcony. So we were on the front bow of the ship, looking over the bow. It was an extended balcony. We had a whole lounger and a table and chairs set out there. By far, the best cruise cabin we have been in. We did the Magnifica last year, and we were in an aft cabin, and I thought that was the top. Watching the cavitations and the wake of the ship was really, really cool. But boy, I swear, the captain drove into the sunset every night on the Celebration. It was beautiful. The amount of time lapses I have of us sailing into the sunset was honestly gorgeous. Yeah, Katie agrees. Forward-facing balconies forever. And it was not an absorbent amount more than a regular balcony. It was literally about the same price, maybe a little bit more, with the extended balcony. They technically classify it as an obstructed view because it is not a glass partition, and you can't technically see like the water. You can't like look down to the water. You're looking over the bow of the ship.
I'll take that extended view anytime.
It was
obstructed.
Yeah,
view.
Dude, it was awesome.
I remember seeing the video.
Yeah. It looked Katie laying out on a lounger in our own. Yeah, it was awesome. And obviously the Magnifica, I booked an interior and was upgraded to a balcony. So that was an absolute blessing. Super awesome. The Breakaway, I was in an interior. The Seaside, we were on a balcony. So, we kind of do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I would say hands down for me, the Celebration had the best room for me. What about you? What staterooms did you do throughout these, and which one would you say was kind of the best?
So the only cruise that we had an interior room on this year would have been the Ascent. And it was probably the best interior room that we've had just because it was the most spacious.
Yeah.
Once you get into the room, of course you got the bathroom on the left, and then you've got the bed, and then there was a whole big area that had a couch, and then on the other side was a little table.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of storage. There were like 3 big pull-out drawers.
Yeah.
At the table, and then of course you had 3 drawers inside the closet, and then you had cabinets outside the closet on the side. It was kind of odd shaped, but I mean, we always need places to put stuff.
Yep.
And I felt like we had more than enough space to put everything, so we didn't have just clutter all over the cabin.
Yeah.
So I would say the only negatives to any of the cabins that we had, which seemed to be on all of them, it's just that little space between the bed and the closet to where you have to kind of go sideways to open the door up.
Yeah.
But all of the balcony cabins that we had, they were all, none of them were obstructed, perfect views.
Yeah.
Not a lot of space, but that's pretty standard.
I think the biggest letdown that I had of all of the cruise cabins for the 4 cruises that I went on this year, the Magnifica still had a shower curtain. And if you're me, in any shower, and I'm the shower curtain, it was like this the whole time I took a shower. It was
cuddled
like,
you.
Hey, do you like showering with me?
And you're like, how many other people
exactly
have you
all I
been
could think
stuck
of
to?
was how many other big fat hairy men had just so yeah. That was the only ick for me was that I can kind of get around a lot of other small things. You know, we lived in a trailer in the RV across the country for a year and a half, so kind of used to the smaller spaces. And you got to, if you want to use something, you got to pull it out, use it. When you're done with it, put it away, or else it'll take up too much space. The only downside I had was the Magnifica still had a shower curtain, but all the other ones, we've gone to glass doors, so which I think everyone should have.
And the MSC shower doors, the showers seem to be a little small.
Yeah.
I will say the Ascent was nice. There was enough room to move around and not be banging against the door. So the Ascent probably has the top spot as far as rooms that we stayed in this year.
Now, we talked a little bit about kind of the common areas. Obviously, the Ascent, Celebration, those are really big ships. So you have, 3 decks here and 4 decks here that are like the main thoroughfares. So what do you think we haven't done MSC yet. Alice has been, Royal Caribbean. We've done mostly NCL, did Carnival back in the 80s, 90s. Yep. To the Glory. I have not been on the Glory.
Me neither.
But yeah,
give MSC a try. I think you would like it.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of the pizza. Pizza's delicious. That's go to Ocean Key because their private island's the best, and their pizza's great.
And
those are the only things you need to know.
Their ships are amazing.
Yeah, and they're beautiful. Their ships are really beautiful. If I could tell you what ship to go on, it would be the Meraviglia. Go on the MSC Meraviglia. The seaside, the seashore, the sea, whatever. Those I didn't like. I didn't really like the layout. I didn't really like the stuff. But the Magnifica was good. The Meraviglia was the best. The Promenade with that LED ceiling that had all the different stuff on it. The mozzarella bar in the buffet is only available on the Meraviglia. So if you love fresh mozzarella, do it.
I do.
Yeah, but same. 4 cruises on 4 different lines and 4 different cabin types next year. That's awesome. Yeah, if we're still in Brooklyn, definitely done the Meraviglia by now. Yeah, and it'll probably come back around. It only just went to New York, the beginning of this year. So definitely. Yeah, the mozzarella. They had caprese salads as far as the eye could see. What type of caprese? And they had like 4 different types of mozzarella. You could just, oh God, it was so good. It was so good. But
we should have brought a snack. Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, I would say the common areas on all the ships, they all were very similar. They all have a grand atrium or a plaza or something. Some of the smaller ships, obviously, they're a lot easier to navigate because there's less stuff to remember where things are, especially when you go on the smaller ships that don't have the sports court and the water park and all that stuff. All that stuff goes away. You only have to memorize 3 floors.
So I liked all the things that were available. In the Breakaway, but I didn't like the layout. I agree.
I totally agree. The Breakaway seemed a bit like everything seemed
compartmentalized and boxy,
and like you didn't. Where am I, and how do I get there? Because I can't place. Like I know what it looks like, but I can't place it in the ship because it's so compartmentalized. It didn't flow from A to B. You just had to figure out where B was, and so it was a little choppy. I kind of felt like that a little bit with the Celebration too. Again, because there's so much stuff that like you have to remember, like at what part, like you would go through the center stage area, which was that multi-purpose. That was 3 levels. So you could walk by the stage on one of 3 different areas. One was, next to the coffee shop. One was next to some specialty dining. And then I can't remember what the other one was. So it's like you have 3 stories. You're walking into the center stage and you go, well, I'm by center stage. It should be here. Oh, it's actually 2 floors down, So it was a little confusing for sure. That's how it was on the Glory. Yeah.
That's a little bit. Yeah. One thing I loved about the Ascent, it was laid out so well. I mean, you pretty much immediately learn where everything's at.
Yep.
On deck 4, you got the casino and the shops. You've got Cafe El Bacio, which we visited a lot for the coffee.
True.
And it's right next to the Grand Plaza. If you just keep going toward the front of the ship, there's the shops, and then the levels above it have like the sports bar and the specialty dining.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have to do a whole lot of, looking
Right,
up, like,
right.
where was this at?
Yeah. So you would say the Ascent was probably your favorite out of all the common area?
Probably it's probably between that and the MSC Seaside.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that ship. I liked the layout. So
yeah, Seaside had a lot of like cool areas to hang out. There was just so many freaking people on that ship
everywhere.
That's the problem is we had to go find somewhere else to sit because every other place was taken. So
on the subject of that, I got to throw in the Biscayne Bay, having that second buffet, the late night, and it wasn't just snacks; it was a full. You could have an entire meal if you wanted to.
The biggest qualm I have with that was that you could only get ice cream in the Biscayne Bay from like
2 to 4,
12, whatever, 12 to 4.
Very small window.
If you say 6 Hail Marys and it's Tuesday after the second, if someone wins the Super Bowl, it was stupid. The limitations of that was absolutely ridiculous. Whereas the Meraviglia, we just got handed hazelnut gelato. They're just like, hey, here's some gelato. It's hazelnut or it's macadamia or whatever. It was so good. For me, the Meraviglia had such great, because it's a newer ship, it had such awesome things to do. Okay, this is a touchy subject. Embarkation and debarkation. This is where we're at an hour where we talk a lot. So we're going to keep talking a little bit. I talk a lot. Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to go for a couple more minutes here. This is the last topic, and that is embarkation and debarkation, or disembarkation, whatever you say.
Disembarkation.
Dysenterianism.
Are you talking?
Or shut up, Richard. There it is. There's your
Had to throw one in.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like none of these ships I've had any issues with. The Seaside, we had engine propulsion issues. So we came in way later than we should.
At least 3 hours later.
At
right?
least 3 hours. Like we should have been in port and parked and going over customs at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. We did not roll in till 9. So we were way late. They still had to do all customs. They still had to go through all the red tape before they could open the doors and let us off. And there were so many people in every nook and cranny of this ship trying to get off because people had flights to get to. People were missing rental car, windows and all this stuff. And so it was
gridlock.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, there were people in the elevator on the floor that we were trying to get off at. People were trying to get off that they couldn't go anywhere.
Because there's so many people in the elevator bank area that there was just no room for them.
And so they were just staying in the elevator holding the door open. So there's people on other floors trying to get on the elevator, couldn't get on the elevator because it's down on this floor, just sitting here with the doors open. So we ended up running the stairs with all of our suitcases and
moving an inch at a time.
It was terrible. Now, again, that wasn't MSC's fault.
It was not.
I mean, maybe if they had better maintenance, maybe if they didn't run their engine so hard, I don't know. But it's not necessarily their fault. So we can't point a finger at them.
Right.
Every MSC that I've been on, the Magnifica, I literally was the 6th person to get off of the ship. Like I stood in line, I was there with my bags, and we waited. The doors open, and we rocked right off. Okay, literally walked right off. That was how it was on the Meraviglia. Walked right off. Okay, on the breakaway, I walked right off. On the Celebration, we walked right off. So every ship that I've done this year, we got right on and we got right off. There's never been. Obviously, the Seaside was a little bit different. Once we started moving, we got right off. Okay, it was a lot of people, so it was a lot of moving, and they had to circle us up and down the ship a little bit.
They had us go through,
which makes sense because they're trying to mitigate all these people. Mm-hmm. And how do you mitigate 5,000 people that are trying to get off the ship all at the same time? So I understand it. And once we started moving, once the doors opened, we never stopped moving till we were off the ship. So, I applaud them for being able to get that many people off the ship that quickly. So I would say I don't really have like a favorite. Obviously, getting off the Magnifica, being the 7th person off the ship, was pretty cool. So, it was really nice to not have to worry or wait in any line. It's just, ready to go. but that's because I had a transfer from MSC to get to the airport. So it was like I needed to get to the transfer, and I ended up being on the first van, and we waited, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes to get some other people off the ship, and then we took right off, and I got to the airport super early, even though my plane didn't leave till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I literally felt like Tom Hanks in Terminal, living at the airport for the day. I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the airport. It was great. But what about you?
So,
any problems?
I would say just overall the cruises we've taken, MSC has been the worst disembarkation, because we had that issue, which again.
Well, you also had that issue on the breakaway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But on the seashore last year, we got into port on time, but we were lined up and in that line for hours because for some reason it took customs longer than normal to clear the ship. I don't know what the issue was, but
which then can you say that's really MSC, or is that?
But we don't know. I'm just saying that our experience, and then of course the issue when we tried to get off the ship, it said that we had not linked our credit card up, which we had been at the kiosk multiple times. So. So that put a bad. That was our first MSC cruise together, and that put a bad taste in our mouth. But we're not the kind to say we're never doing this again. Right. So had a much better experience with the seaside. But I would say, hands down, Celebrity has got embarkation down. We, like I said, with this cruise on the Ascent, for some reason we couldn't get Becca's her boarding pass to come up on the app, and so we're like, oh gosh, this is gonna delay things.
Right.
So from the moment we walked in the door of the terminal, even having to go to the desk and have them print out her boarding pass, it was 10 minutes before we were on the gangway.
Cool.
So, and the other two Celebrity cruises we've done, it's just you walk into the terminal, they scan your boarding pass, and you're getting on the ship. Yep. So I would say they've got the. Cool.
One day I definitely like to try Celebrity and Royal, and those are kind of the next two that I'd like to. We got this Norwegian coming up, and then obviously we're doing the Princess. Princess isn't one that I'm necessarily like, let me do a bunch of Princess ships to like get a feel. Obviously it's a Carnival brand ship, so I feel like it's going to be relatively similar. Just
it's going to be a little more chill,
towards the older crowd. But I'm super excited for this Norwegian coming up on the Bliss. And then I would definitely like to change it up and do maybe Royal or Celebrity and kind of see what that's kind of all about there for sure. But okay, any closing statements?
No, I'm excited to try out a new line. This will be my first Princess cruise as well.
Yeah.
So looking forward to checking that out. And I'm going to a new port. I've not been to San Juan.
True. So. We did San Juan. Oh, that was another one on the Celebration. We did San Juan, and that was really fun because we, Katie and I, got to get off together in San Juan by ourselves. We left Madison with her parents who were on the cruise with us.
It was a date port,
and it was a date port. It was great, and we had some great references. We went and had some food at a local restaurant that was referenced to us by some friends of ours. And that's right, Puerto Rico. The mofongo was really, really good, despite some other people saying that it wasn't.
I have heard that it is amazing.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. And it was, referenced to us by a local and said, this is where the locals go. So regardless of other people's opinions, we really, really liked it. And, that's why you go and you do the things.
Try it for yourself.
Right. Try it for yourself. Don't listen to me, It just go take a look. It's in a book. It's Reading Rainbow. We're just two schmucks that enjoy cruising. We eat. We do the things we want to do, and we say, hey, this is our experience, and you should go experience it for yourself too. You form your own opinions, and you come back and let us know. Did you like what we said? Was it very similar, or was it?
Were we wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind being wrong every so often, especially if it includes me going on more cruises. You know, so. Anyways, well, thank you guys so much for joining us on the last video of the day. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's to y'all. Thank you for an absolutely wonderful year.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're visiting the McNeils here in Tennessee.
So they've been staying with us the last couple of days. We absolutely love it. Bada bing, bada bang. Yeah, forget about it. I'm walking here. But we super, super appreciate all the support for both of us this year. If you have not, go check out PMB's Wide World of Ports. They are really cruise centric. Patrick's doing some really great videos there. They're right in the middle of their Ascent series. That's a brand new ship with some amazing technology and shows and things like that. They were there with the Cruise World, Mark and Stephanie. We absolutely love them, met them as well on the Norwegian Breakaway for the vloggers. So definitely go check them out. Facebook, Jason, yes, we will see you in a few months. We are so excited.
It's going to go by fast.
So excited
to
be here before we know it. It's
yeah.
going to be, I cannot wait for the shenanigans that we are going to get up to. I don't think there's enough days in this cruise for the amount of shenanigans that I am packing in my suitcase.
It'll be a mini vloggers extravaganza.
Exactly. And all three of us are filming. So go check out Memories of Facebook, Jason. He's probably the most recent one that started their channel.
But he does more than just
so they're Disney. So he does a lot of Disney stuff as well, and wrestling, which, Facebook Jason, don't know if you know this, but Patrick here had a stint in the ring.
Yeah, I was in the ring for a few years. So
I think we're gonna have to do a couple of these on the Princess Cruise for sure.
There are a couple of videos on YouTube, the archives.
We need to find them. Jason and I, we need to find them for sure. Yeah, video evidence. So it exists.
It does exist. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to give him the chair for sure. For sure. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely loved it. Wonderful time. Thank you for the engagement in the comments. It's always nice to just have some of the back and forth. But Happy New Year's, everybody. We will see you in 2024 somewhere on the water, I hope. So I'm Rob from Here Today, Where Tomorrow.
I'm Patrick from PMB's Wide World of Ports.
And we will see you there.